In the past few years, my dream of having a workplace that ran like the office or like City Hall and Parks and Recs have been thoroughly dashed. Okay, so maybe not actually dashed, that might be a little bit of an over exaggeration, but let's talk about what 2023 could mean for leadership, careers, and business as a whole. Keeping everything simple, let's jump right in. My name is Michael Klukas, also known as KES, and even though right now I actually work a traditional job where I have to actually go into my workplace on a weekly basis, this isn't the case for everyone anymore. The world's changed. The pandemic has made remote and hybrid work a staple across many different fields and industries where this type of job and this type of career can be utilized pretty easily. And now, before anyone comes after me for saying,
yeah, well, this job can't do that, or this job can't do that,
I would like to stress, not every job or field has the capability to be remote, and that is really just the nature of different areas of expertise and different jobs and careers. And that's okay. It's just, again, an inherent difference. Now with that little disclaimer out of the way, let's talk about what major changes could be coming in 2023 to remote and hybrid work and how that impacts businesses, leaderships, and teams. Return to office orders may be increasing this year. After a lot of premature attempts by some larger companies to enforce these return to office orders within this past year, this next year we could see probably a resurgence of more orders or actions being taken to enforce return to office orders. However, this is probably still going to pose a struggle to both businesses and team members as a whole. Like Apple, GM, and Tesla are prime candidates and examples of companies that fired and they missed. They fired again and they missed. Fire one more time and they missed again. And these large groups that really tried to push for these premature return to work or return to the office orders, they received a lot of pushback from employees or just a lot of miscommunication on the actual return or just outright poor execution. And this just resulted in a huge headache for everyone involved. However, I think we're reaching a point where we may see an increase in these return to office orders with companies already like Starbucks asking employees to actively come in on those 3 days because that's what was originally agreed upon, only to find out the employees haven't been doing so for one reason or another. But I again think that we could see a greater push for enforcing what used to work in the past. And just like Sharpay Evans says,
it's out with the old and in with the new. Goodbye, clouds of
gray. Hello, oh, we're back. Okay. Talking about changes, flexibility will likely be a huge game changer and cornerstone to 2023 for teams, businesses, and leaders as a whole. Simon Sinek, who is kind of synonymous for leadership on social media, posted a YouTube short, which I will link to, where he talked about a major workplace trend for 2023, and he called that trend flexibility. And he really isn't alone in thinking that flexibility is going to be huge this coming year. A poll by Gallup shows that only 6% of workers actively want to work from the office full time. And this is paired with 6 out of 10 employees who are exclusively, so fully remote workers, are extremely likely to change companies if they're not offered flexibility and the option of continuing to do remote work. And this is paired then with hybrid workers, where 3 out of 10 employees are also extremely likely to change companies if they aren't offered the flexibility and the options to continue doing remote and hybrid work. And it's super important that we all understand that modern business does look very different than when everyone needed a little cubicle in the office and everyone had to be there in person, or like Homer Simpson and you were told that you were never going to leave your job. Now, while parts of businesses and career journeys have remained the same, there's still a lot that has changed in these past couple years, and it's super important that we understand what exactly these changes mean for all of us. So comment below, if you could, would you go to remote work? For myself personally, I feel like I would like a hybrid style because I like interacting with people in person. However, the thought of what I could do if I was fully remote is also pretty interesting. There's a lot more I could do with my time then, but I think I'd like hybrid. Let me know what you guys stand on this below. Another big reason that I stress it's so important to understand what has changed is these large companies that want to return to the status quo of what worked before, I don't believe will be able to easily force the situation to line up as it did in the past. Again, we have to understand that things are different now, and what people understand about their jobs, careers, and their lives is also very different. Here are some things that I recommend you do and look for this coming year as we try to really navigate what this year could actually hold for all of us. First is the recommendation that Don't go for a one-size-fits-all approach. Instead, take a more specialized approach to the situation. See where productivity is low in some areas, see where it's high, take the preference of the employees into account, and then make a specialized plan according to what information that you have. Because one size fits all does not necessarily equate to the best course of action. Secondly, you want to be flexible. Again, not everyone's role can actively be remote, and that's important to understand. However, you do want to provide options to the best of your ability to reach a mutually beneficial agreement between you, your team, or your coworkers, so that way at least everyone wins in some capacity. And again, this is to the best of your ability. It's not going to likely be a perfect outcome. There is the idea of the endowment effect, which is we hate to lose things that we've earned or been given, and if you try to force decisions in this capacity, you may actively lose talented team members and team leaders. Third, you want to execute with caution and be prepared to adapt. As I said earlier, this year probably will still be a big struggle for businesses, teams, and leaders. Everyone will have to be able to adapt to some capacity, and trying to have a hard and fast rule that you stick to without adapting would only breed further complications down the line. And so you'll want to keep everything simple, stay flexible, be adaptable, and get ready to ride the waves of this coming year. Be sure you check out my video on how to avoid negatively forcing change on your team. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I will see you all in the next video.